Hello everyone, welcome back to Witches of the Moon. It is Friday and I'm your Friday hostess, Natalie. I apologize first off for this video being very late and getting up. It is Friday afternoon, so typically I record my videos earlier in the week and then I just set them to schedule to post on the given time. However, this week many things conspired against me to allow me to have the time to sit down and do this video, and I wanted to be sure that the video was good quality. I didn't want to be rushed through it, so my apologies for the late delay. I'm also going to say that you'll have to excuse the lighting because the lighting in here isn't very good. As you can see, the weather's really bad and I think it blew out one of my light bulbs, so my lighting is a little funky right now, but we'll do the best that we can, right? Now, this video is going to be, this week's topic, this week's topic is about air, the elemental air. Its importance, how we use it, how we can incorporate it in our craft and in our daily lives, what the correspondences are, and so on and so forth. And I'm not certain what I can share that my fellow hosts have not already covered, but I'm going to give it a stab and see. I did make myself some notes on my note paper while I was at work this week, so I'll begin with that. The typical correspondences for the elemental of air are communication, inspiration, ideas, anything like that, breath, that expiration of air, and rational cognition. So in terms of me and my practice, I am a speech language pathologist. So for me, the element of air is very important, and I do incorporate that into my daily life because I'm constantly talking. If you'll ask my mother, I was probably constantly talking before I became a speech language pathologist. Traditionally, in witchcraft, we see the element of air being associated with the east. Not everybody observes that. And for my practice, I follow a Celtic path, and so I don't know what the elemental color is for air in Wicca. I believe it's yellow, but I'm not sure because my colors are different. My elemental color is red for air. To the south is fire and it's white, to the west is gray, that's water, and to the north is black, that's earth. So, but a lot of people associate it with beginnings, new beginnings, that first inkling of an idea, as above, so below. And some of the altar associations that go along with that are things that you can incorporate into your household that you will likely see on your altar that can be associated with the element of air would be incense. That's one of the first things that comes to my mind. Now, incense, you might think, well, that's fire because you have to light it and it's lit. That's true. It is kind of a combination of two elements, fire and air, because you have the smoke that curls up. Now, I do smoke divination with incense, so I will get images and visions through the smoke, a lot like when your candle's scrying too. You'll see kind of the flicker in the flame. I use it kind of the same way. I do it sort of the same way. So I associate incense with the element of air because you smell it. It is moving up and the smoke is curling. It's carrying your intentions and your thoughts and your prayers to the spirit realm. Spirit is being a separate elemental. I think it's very closely associated with air, though. I think you see those two kind of very closely conjoined because a lot of people view breath as a form of spirit. Now, another association that you can have in your craft or in your practice, to me at least, that goes along with the element of air would be music. So if you incorporate music into your craft, and we will be talking about this later on this season, as a matter of fact, if you utilize song or music of any kind, those vibrations are carried through the medium of air. So anytime that you are doing music, anything associated with sound, anything like that, that isn't a way of utilizing the element of air. So you can have the elemental air around you in your practice all the time. Now, how to incorporate, one of the things that we're going to be talking about next week is the power of words. So your words of power, or your spellcraft that you write, your incantations, that is one way to incorporate the element of air into your practice, your physical practice, not just your ritual or your altar space, but your practice. Anytime you utilize that, and I have done videos in the past on my personal channel, I think I may have commented along similar veins here on Witches of the Moon, but for me, I live witchcraft. I breathe witchcraft. It's something I do all the time. When I'm cooking, I have my words of power that I use, associating different spices and herbs into my cooking. I also incant and enchant over that. I know Lady Grave Dancer likes it called enchanting, so I do that. I also forgot what I was going to say. Oh, words of power. You can incorporate that. Another way, music. I talked about wind chimes. Wind chimes, or what I call fairy music, is a very good way to incorporate the element of air, to have the element of air around your house. Last season we did kind of hiding, I believe we ended the season with hiding your practice in plain sight. If you wanted to incorporate the elementals in your outdoor space, you could all very easily incorporate wind chimes as part of your elemental for air, honoring the elemental of air. Fans also can represent the elemental of air as well, so that's another way to look at it. What I wanted to say in terms of words of power, next week we're going to be talking about the power of words, and I did a video on my personal channel about the importance of words and how powerful words can be. And next week when I do my video for that particular topic, I plan to link my video in the down bar, because that ties right in very closely with the elemental of air. When you say something in a specific manner, whether it be angry or happy or loving or however passionate, you are putting that out into the universe. So it's important to remember that air is the elemental that carries the energy of your intentions. Okay? When you are looking at something, you are viewing through the medium of air. So that is something to keep in mind as well. So anytime that you want to incorporate the elemental of air into your practice, think on those things. Think about what gets traveled through the air. Sight, sound, words, which goes with sound, music, any kind of thing that you can do that will carry throughout that. So if you do meditation and breathing exercises, that's a very good way to incorporate the element of air into your daily life and into your daily practice as well. I realize that this has been a little bit of a short video. I feel like there was something that I wanted to say that I felt was kind of important. Oh yes. In terms of the element of air, I want to talk about how the element of air brings about change. You always hear about the winds of change, right? So there is, I'm definitely from Texas, folks. There is a definite correlation between change and beginnings, of course, because a new beginning means something is changing, but also you have that element of air. We talk about the winds of change. I like to just go outside, and when I was a young kid, I would just sit in the wind and let the air kind of flow around my arms. I would like hold out my arms and hold up my face. I love to feel the wind blow against me. It's something that I have just always loved since I was a child, that sensation. And so that is another way you can simply incorporate the element of air, is by simply going outside. Of course, today it's probably not a good day for that, although it's a little windy, as you can see from the trees moving in the background. But to have that just kind of blow across you, everybody likes a cool breeze. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the element of air bringing change and those winds of change. Well, that also relates to your words bring change. We affect things through speech. We affect change through speech. And so we are putting out our intentions. So think about all those public speakers, Martin Luther King, all of those people that were very powerful. You know, I hate to say this, but even Hitler, he was a very powerful speaker, and he was able to motivate his people in a manner, probably not for the best of their country, unfortunately, but it was powerful. So your words and the element of air, I think, is one of the most powerful. Think about a tornado. It can blow through. So wind and air can be something as gentle as a breeze, or as powerful as a hurricane or tornado. So your words can kind of do the same thing. So think about that whenever you're working with the element of air. Don't ever underestimate it. I think people don't think a lot about the element of air because it's not something that's technically visible unless you have like smoke or something blowing in the breeze. You're in that tornado here in the tornado belt and a cow flies past your window, then you're going to think about the power of air. But it is absolutely one of the most essentials. We cannot live without breath. We cannot live without air. We need our air to be in a specific saturation of specific elements, such as oxygen and so forth, in order to breathe. That, I think, ties in well with the elemental of the power of trees, too, because trees reciprocate what we put out. They put out what we need to breathe, and we give them what they need to breathe. So I think that just kind of ties us in, but that was interesting. I'll have to ruminate on that a little bit more. But anyhow, I'm certain that I probably have reiterated a lot of what you've already heard, but think about those things when you're out there. Think about things that you can associate. I also associate feathers, by the way, with the element of air because birds travel through air. So anything like helicopters, airplanes, spaceships, the space shuttle, feathers, things like that, pictures of clouds, those are all ways that you can incorporate that element. And that would actually be a combining of the element of air and water too. So when you're thinking about setting up a space, or you're thinking about how can you incorporate these things into your daily practice, think on those things. Be creative in your ideas and allow it to flow into you, to fly into you, so to speak, and be open-minded about it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much. Blessed be.